so miscellaneous Triggy review stuff. It's circle day today, so this works from a notes sheet that the group in the room has. Anybody from number 1? Do you remember how to do that?
It's like the two, like, squared parentheses, isn't it?
It can be in parentheses, but since we're centered at the origin, we aren't going to need the parentheses. But yeah, number 2 is going to have parentheses squared here, parentheses squared there. Yes.
And is 1 just x squared plus y squared equals 81?
That is correct. Number 1, if we're centered at the origin, it's going to be x squared plus y squared every time. And then it equals 81. How did she get that 81? From the 9 squared. Anybody question about 1? Okay, let's skip down to 5. 5 is 1, but backwards. Can somebody other than Nicole get us 5 figured out then?
Is that the origin?
Center is the origin, so you could just write 0, 0 as an ordered pair in parentheses with that comma. Radius, anybody?
Square root of 40.
Square root of 40 is pretty good, but can be improved upon.
2 root 10?
2 root 10 is our best answer on 5 instead of root 40. Question about 5? Let's do either 6 or 2. They're about the same. One's forward and one's in reverse. Anybody have a theory on 6 or on 2?
Would the center be at 3, negative 2?
It is. For
For
number
6.
6, the center's at positive 3, comma, negative 2. The coordinates of the center always have the opposite signs from what the parentheses had. So that x minus 3 gives us the 3, the y plus 2 gives us a negative 2.
Is radius root 21?
Radius is root 21, and you can't improve on that. Question about 6 being the center of 3, negative 2, radius being root 21. So let's slide back to 2 and do that in reverse.
X plus 2 squared
Yep,
plus y minus 3 squared
yep,
equals 25.
that's a win. X plus 2 is in parentheses, getting squared, plus y minus 3 is in parentheses, getting squared, and it equals 25. Something about 1, 2, 5, 6. Maybe I should have started the sheet with 3. I think 3 is maybe easier than anything that we've done. Anybody have a theory on how you would test if that point was on it, in it, or in the exterior?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. Go negative 3 squared, which is 9. 4 squared is 16. 9
Yes.
plus 16. 25 right on the nose, which means it's on the circle. How would you know it was in the interior?
If it was less than
If
25.
we fell short from 25, an exterior obviously, if it were more. Question about 3, being on the circle. Oh, 4, 7, and 8. 8's definitely harder than 7. 4, hard to say whether that's harder or easier than 7. Anybody have a thought on tackling 4 or 7?
For 7, would you try to like factor?
Yeah, 7 you would factor. So I gave you x squared minus 6x plus 9 all in the same zone. So let's factor that. That is x minus 3 squared. And I gave you all the y's nicely set up in the same zone. So factor that.
Y plus 4 squared?
Y plus 4 squared. And it still equals 25. So now it became exactly like number 6 in difficulty level. center would be,
3, -4.
and a radius of,
5.
good. Anybody need a run back on 7? Let's do 8. We'll double back to 4. 8, we're gonna also need to factor, but I didn't really like put the stuff in the right area very well. Am I viewable here?
Yeah.
Okay. So my first bit of advice would be to get the x squared minus 8x in a little cluster together. Get the y squared plus 10y in a little cluster together. And the equals 11, we're just going to nudge that out of the way. Did I go too wide or am I?
No, you're still good.
All right. Question about that first, a little baby step. Then this was a thing called factoring by completing the square. We need to make an x with a square kind of thing,
I hate it.
but we're short a number. And we need to make the y have a squared, but we're short a number. So it's usually easier to figure out where we're going before we actually figure out what the number is going to be. Does anybody remember how this is going to go? It is -4. We're going to copy the sign, and how'd you get the 4? Cut it in half. So x minus 4 is a winner. For consistency's sake, who would 4 connect to up a level? 16. How so? Square. 4 times 4, we need a 16. Now I can't just add 16 in the problem on one side unless I add it to the other. So I'd go a plus 16 over there to keep the equation balanced. So somebody else, different voice, what's this?
Plus 5.
That's a plus 5.
25.
So plus 25. So over here,
Plus 25.
plus 25. These numbers, we'd have to
Yeah.
add it all up. Somebody in an adding mode. 52 is true. And then the hardness of that is over. Now it's at the same difficulty level as 6 was, the same sort
4,
of.
-5.
It is 4, -5 for the center.
Root 52.
Root 52 is pretty good. The question is, can that get fine-tuned or not?
Yeah.
Yes. Who goes in?
2 root 23.
2 root
26.
13. Because it's 4 goes in.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
4
yeah.
into that 13. Question about 8. Back to 4 that we avoided. What's up with 4?
It doesn't give you the center.
Doesn't give you the center, but it does give you enough information that you can figure out the center. If you have the endpoints of a diameter, how would you get the center figured out? Average those out. That's called the midpoint formula, which is essentially just averaging those out. So the 2 and the 6 average out to be a 4. The 8 and the 16 average out to be 12. So the center is at 412, and that gets us started. So if we know the center is 412, we'd go x minus 4 squared plus who minus 12? Y minus 12 squared equals, and then the number's a little tricky, but anybody bothered by how we got the center and how we're saying x minus 4 squared plus y minus 12 squared equals? How would you know what it equals? It's kind of like what we did on number 3. Just pick one of those coordinate pairs and plug them in. So I would probably, I don't know, it doesn't matter which ones you pick. They should do the same thing. If you pick the 6-16 pair, at least you're subtracting to stay positive, but it doesn't really matter whether you stay positive
Because
because
it's getting squared.
it's getting squared anyway. So whether you do 6 minus 4 or whether you do 2 minus 4, they're both going to get you 2's in the 2's family, and then squaring it gets you to 4. Then for the y's, whether you do 8 minus 12 or whether you do 16 minus 12, you're coming up with something in the 4's, which squaring it makes 16. So 16 and 4 together
Like 20.
equals 20. That's what the sheet tonight will do. This paper had 8 problems on it. The one you're going to do homework has 24, so it probably just cycles through like 3 of each problem would be my guess. Question about circle notes. Let's do homework answers. Graphing lines, we didn't go over last time because we didn't have enough people, but probably the simplest way to go over the graphing lines answers is just for me to pass my key through, and you can see if what you did matches what I did, because I don't see a convenient way to really
Yeah.
describe with our voices those graphs. So I'll start that with you, and you can work that way around. And then the sheet before that was slopes. The slopes we can go through with our voices. So, what do you say on slopes? Why don't you go down the first column?
1.
Keep talking.
-5/2.
Keep talking.
Impossible.
And
1/3.
I agree with all 4 of those. Can you do the next stack?
1, 2, 0, and 3/5.
I slight disagree with one of her stack.
-3/5.
It is a -3/5 at the bottom. Why don't you try a stack?
0, -7/2, -1, impossible.
I agree with your stack. So that's a pretty good stack. Anybody that top group, something there? Okay, why don't you do problem 1 and 2?
4 and 0 negative,
Agreed.
half and 0 negative.
Slight disagree.
-1.
Yeah, -half. -half and then 0, -3. That's a win. 3 and 4 hit you up twice.
Y equals 3x plus 5.
True.
Y equals -3/3 x minus 4.
True. Anybody need help up to 4? 5, what do you think?
Intersecting.
It is. 6, what do you think?
Parallel.
I agree. 7.
Y equals 3.
To be in standard form, we're going to want the x and the y both on the same side, equaling some other number.
3x minus y equals 0.
That works. Y minus 3x equals 0 also. If anybody reads an answer and all of your signs are wrong, you're actually right, because you could legally switch all of the signs in a problem anytime you wanted to. Anybody front side, anything?
What was 7?
7 was y minus 3x equaled 0. For creation purposes, you might have gone y minus 0 equals 3 wants to distribute x minus 0, and then just kind of math it from there. That's a way to do it. Something 7. 8, second row for 8.
Y equals -2x plus 4.
Okay, we want to get the x and y on the same side, so y plus 2x would equal 4, would be a win. 9?
I did the same thing she did.
Okay,
For 9,
9?
y equals 2/3 x.
Okay, we're going to want the x and y on the side.
Oh.
-18 equals 2x minus 3y.
Yeah, that works. I had 3y minus 2x equaled 18. Rule on that is x and y to a side and no fractions allowed. So at some point you had to multiply everybody by like 3 to get the fractions to go away. 10?
Y minus 3x equals -3.
That's close. Y minus 3x does equal something.
Yeah, I had the last number wrong on all of them.
Okay.
So I don't know how you do that.
Anybody something on 10? Y minus 3x equals?
9.
It is a negative 9. Let's talk 10 because that's the freshest one. Were you setting it up with point slope form? Okay, that's probably why.
What does that mean?
Point slope form means you go y minus the y I give you equals slope, parentheses, x minus an x I give you,
Okay.
and then you like distribute and do stuff. Is that enough of a tidbit?
Yeah.
Anybody else up to 10? 11, these should be y equals. The directions have changed. Slope-intercept form means y equals form. You've shot 11?
Y equals 5/3x plus 1/3.
That's correct. 12?
I did the same thing as like, I have the thing there, but it's not y equals.
Okay.
Y equals 1/3 x plus 4.
I like the 1/3 x. Something funny happened with that 4.
I didn't have any y equals.
Okay. You shot at 12, or is that going to be a final number mistake for you again?
Yep.
Okay.
Y equals 1/3 x plus 10/3.
You're the star of the show today. Anybody think they might be right, or should I just hit her back up for 13?
Is it y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4?
Your slope is off to start. Slope won't be anything with, it's close to 1/3, but it's not 1/3.
So y equals 2/3 x plus 6.
2/3 is closer.
Negative 2/3.
It's a negative 2/3 on the slope. So what I would do to set up 13, I'd go y minus 3 equals a negative 2/3, wants to distribute x minus 3. Then the distribute is then nice because 3's cancel and good things happen.
Yeah.
Anybody from the non-Moran world, can you get to the finish line of 13?
Of 13?
Uh-huh.
The y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4?
That's close.
Plus 5.
5.
Oh, is that a 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2/3 slope. 14, in anybody world, including Lauren or whomever, what is the slope on 14?
7?
It is 7. So how would it set up then?
Like
Not the final answer, but
the y minus 1
E-
equals
yeah.
7, and then parentheses x minus 3.
that's correct. And then let's distribute and get the y alone, anybody who's not Lauren.
Y equals 7x minus 20.
That's a win. Question, anybody, about how any of that magic happened on the slopes answers? Okay, that's a wrap.